Coming up next on this edition of In the City, Murfreesboro Fire Rescue honors 9/11 with a small ceremony. Also, the city and county recently met to discuss resolving issues between the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department and Rutherford County EMS. Plus, the Murfreesboro Water Resources Department are working on Highland Avenue. We find out what they're doing. And Murfreesboro icon John Hood is honored with the naming of a county building. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. Even though many 9/11 events were canceled because of COVID-19, Murfreesboro Fire Rescue continues their tradition to honor and remember victims of 9/11. Murfreesboro Fire Rescue continues their tradition to remember 9/11. At the Fallen Firefighter Memorial on the square, a small group gathers to pay respects to the men and women who save lives every day and take time to honor those who lost theirs in the horrific acts of 9/11 19 years ago.
It's just our way of honoring those that gave all, and our way of remembering those first responders who are on duty today in our city, state, and also in our nation.
Taking time out of a busy day to slow down, have a meal, and pray together is a small gesture from those who give so much to our community every day. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. The city and county recently met to discuss resolving issues between the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department and Rutherford County EMS.
Over the last 17 years, Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department has provided emergency medical response to its citizens. Murfreesboro Fire personnel are trained in emergency medical response, including paramedics, which is the highest level. For decades, the city has permitted Rutherford County Emergency Medical Services to provide the primary medical response and ambulance service within the city. In February of this year, the City Council approved gathering sealed proposals from other ambulance service providers seeking to provide the highest level of emergency medical care at no additional cost to Murfreesboro citizens. This information led the mayors of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County to form a task force to formulate a plan that may result in the city entering into a new contract with Rutherford County EMS to continue providing ambulance service.
Well, today we're having an EMS Task Force meeting. The City Council and the two mayors decided to appoint a task force to try to work through some of the issues that we've had, the long-standing issues we've had regarding EMS within our city. We're looking at issues such as dispatch times, some patient care issues, various other things that we are going to try to come together to try to resolve.
This task force was placed by the mayors, and it gives us an opportunity to make a better service for our citizens. I feel like this is kind of growing pains to a certain extent. You know, our cities and county has grown in population, our call volume has increased, and we want to make sure that everybody is working in unison for the better of our citizens.
The task force was formed with industry professionals and purposely excluded elected officials. From Rutherford County, its Public Safety Director Chris Clark, EMS Director Carl Hudgens, Paramedic Supervisor Mike Johnson, and EMS Dispatch Supervisor Susie Cunningham. From Murfreesboro, it's MFRD Chief Mark Folks, Assistant Chief of Medical Services Jeff Wright, Captain Josh Oliver, and IT Deputy Director Bill Terry.
We cover 600 and some odd square miles of the county. Murfreesboro is part of Rutherford County.
And the agenda is to basically work through issues that are in our interlocal agreement to try to frame those up to enhance patient care and do away with the dispatch issues that we've been having. This is just part of that ongoing enhancement, or trying to make sure that we're providing the absolute highest quality level of care that we can for our citizens every day.
I feel very optimistic when we can sit here and iron out any type of differences we may have and provide the best services for the county.
I'm optimistic because we're all coming to the table together with the same goal in mind, hopefully to provide the best level of patient care that we can., And if everybody's on that goal, hopefully we can get some things accomplished.
The Murfreesboro Water Resources Department is performing work in parts of downtown. You might want to avoid this area in the coming months.
The city has chosen to alert residents on some water main replacements that will disrupt traffic. The Assistant City Manager and Murfreesboro Water and Sewer Heavy Construction Foreman have both appeared on the city's podcast talking about this subject.
Well, our operations and maintenance construction crew, our heavy construction crew, is going to replace the water and some sewer mains along Highland Avenue between Vine Street and Roberts on the north end, Vine Street on the southern end. They're going to start at Vine and move north block by block. Just because it's heavily traveled, they wanted to let everybody know. So I'll cut the asphalt, dig down and lay the line. They'll chlorinate it and make the tie-overs to the existing line on the either end of that block that they're working on. And then once it's chlorine samples come back good, they'll start tying over the existing water services to the new line and then abandon the old.
The Street Department and Water Resources Department try to coordinate so the water lines get replaced with roads that need to be repaved, so streets aren't tore up twice.
We try to coordinate with the city on any roadway work and replace the water and sewer mains that are old and dilapidated at the same time. Street Department, they have a list of streets that they're going to pave each year. And then we will go to those streets, look and see how old the water mains are, what size they are, whether they're providing fire protection for the area or not.
Depending on weather, this project will take roughly a month per block to complete.
3 weeks if it's just water, and probably a month if it's water and sewer that they're replacing. I think 2 blocks that will have water and sewer, and then the rest of it is just water.
A separate crew inspects the sewer mains to confirm they need replacing or not.
Our operations and maintenance department has a couple of camera trucks and cameras that they will televise the sewer mains, and we put them on a list. Either our maintenance department, if they need repair, will replace them, or we'll put it in our yearly sewer rehabilitation contract.
A significant amount of money is saved on projects just like this, since the crews doing the work are employees of the city.
We save the time of getting an engineer to design it, bid it out, and going through the bid phase and preparing contract documents with an outside contractor and him, putting up his markup on it. We will be keeping the residences that live in that block access to their homes. If they could be patient with us, we will get them in and out of their driveways. Regular traffic, be patient. It's just something that we are trying to do to be proactive. If they have any problems during the construction, they can call our operations and maintenance department.
That number is 615-893-1223.
Rutherford County Emergency Communications District's 911 Administration and Training Center, located at 591 Fortress Boulevard, is now the John D. Hood 911 Administration and Training Center. The new name was revealed during a small ceremony on September 11th. An interesting fact, the building's original ribbon cutting took place just one day after September 11th in 2001. RECED Director Steve Smith led the ceremony honoring this Murfreesboro icon.
Good afternoon, and welcome to a very special day for us here at the Rutherford County Emergency Communications District. We're here today to honor Mr. John D. Hood and dedicate the naming of this building in his honor. I would like to also say that while today, September the 11th, is seared in the history of our country, I would be remiss if we did not acknowledge those whose brave souls sacrificed so much for our nation at the Twin Towers in New York, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
It's an honor and a pleasure for me just to say a few words about John today, and we thank you for your service, your dedicated service to this community, John, and it's a pleasure to have nominated as a member of the 911 board for something that's so important for somebody who started at the very beginning of 911 and been there ever since. We want to, usually you have name dedications on buildings after somebody has already passed. now is an opportunity. We're going to honor somebody while you're here, and you can actually see it for yourself. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be here to give you that respect, John.
To say I'm flattered and honored on this occasion will be an understatement. I am most grateful for this event. One of the great pleasures over the years to me has been to serve on this board, bringing this service to the Rutherford County community. When we did that referendum back in the 1980s, our citizens voted and told us overwhelmingly they wanted this service. It's always been gratifying to realize what this means to everyone in our community to be able to have this number for all kinds of emergency service. And over the years, we were able to build and pay for this building to serve as our training facilities and our headquarters. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Seniors at St. Clair Senior Center receive free produce, recipes, and nutritional information as part of a new project and partnership with MTSU's Human Sciences Department.
You've heard of farm to table, but what about tower to table? Well, that's what students at MTSU's Department of Human Sciences are researching and, in return, helping seniors.
So we've gone over and done other education on fruits and vegetables and realized that they needed more information, just more education, and we thought if we gave it to them and then also gave them the recipes, more likely to use it.
Through a $2,600 grant, students grow a variety of greens and herbs on these aeroponic towers and a year's worth of plants and training.
We're growing a variety of herbs and greens, and we're going to distribute them to the seniors with information recipes and other information about how it can affect their health and how it can help them.
Students are not only getting hands-on learning, they're also providing much-needed interaction with seniors from St. Clair, since the pandemic forced the center to cancel all inside activities.
We're not able to do as much face-to-face right now maybe, but at least with the delivery of the produce, we get to see them and spend a few minutes chit-chatting, so I think that's also important for them.
Each tower has 32 slots for plants. They're growing a variety of greens and herbs like kale, Swiss chard, oregano, even lavender, just to name a few.
We have quite a large number of things that we're growing that normally we would need a very large amount of square footage to do.
At the end of the project, students will interview seniors about how they used the produce and how they incorporated it into their diet. MTSU senior dietetics student Teresa Wilberscheid tells us this project will help her be a better registered dietitian when she graduates.
I think it's a wonderful project. I mean, we're giving back to our community. We're getting experience as students with the people that we're going to be working with in the future, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
The plant towers are located on the first floor of the Ellington Human Sciences building. Students hand out each week's harvest every Monday at St. Clair Senior Center. For CityTV, Michael Linn White.
The Wilderness Station at Barfield Crescent Park has so many great nature programs for children. We spent time with a group of kids that took advantage of this great facility.
The Wilderness Station at Barfield Crescent Park hosted a fall science camp for homeschool kids, a fun-filled week of learning for students aged 8 to 12 years old. They covered curriculum standards in the fields of chemistry, biology, ecology, astronomy, and much more.
It's a week-long camp. It's from 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. We try to cover as much biology and ecology and astronomy and geology topics that we can in 5 days. We cover a lot of the science standards that public schools here in the state of Tennessee have to follow. So we try to make it educational, and we always try to have a little bit of fun and a lot of activities involved in it as well.
The first day I was like, when we were coming back in, I thought, oh no, I think we have to go home, but 3 more or 2 more activities were left, and they were nice and long.
Well, some of the things that I enjoyed were pretty much all of the science camp, like the engineering, when we did the prevent the egg from cracking, and we went creek stomping. We went on a hike to go to the river. We caught some fish with nets and put them in containers.
This is one of the first programs offered since being closed down for COVID-19.
We're excited to get back to, some type of normalcy and doing some regular programs for the public and especially the homeschool kids. I know the parents need a break and giving their kids an opportunity to come and do some activities with us. I think, everybody wins from it. We have a great, well-rounded staff here. We've got some people that are very experienced in birds. We have some people that are very experienced with fish and reptiles and amphibians. Hiking. We offer, a lot of adult programs as well as far as the outdoors got. We do have a lot at our disposal. We have a campground. We take the kids down there typically every Friday when we offer one of these camps. That's what we end up with our cookout. We have the Stones River at the back of the property, and we utilize that at least once a week, if not twice. We have several miles of trails, some paved, some unpaved. We have, probably approximately 300 acres of woods. When we have the kids come here to the Wilderness Station, for us it's about the life science and it's about being outdoors. So when we try to take advantage of that every chance we get.
I really liked when we went creek stomping. I caught a crayfish and lots of people gave some of their fish to me.
This is the best place to go for hiking. There's lots of trails, beautiful trees and birds and other plants.
We definitely have our nature center up front. We have live animals here, and that is for sure one of the kids' favorites. Here in the city, we do utilize that newsletter. You can see it on our website, on the city's website. We do utilize Outdoor Murfreesboro Facebook page, and we have a large chalkboard outside the Wilderness Station, and we typically fill it up every Sunday with the week's programs coming up. Our second camp of the year is going to be the second week of November here in just a little bit over a month.
And I really love coming here, doing the classes, having fun at science camp, and hiking on the trails.
Native plants are extremely important to our environment. This project from Murfreesboro Outdoors aims to educate the public on the best ways to incorporate indigenous plants into your landscape.
Murfreesboro Outdoors is busy with lots of environmental projects around town. A new one they're excited about, the Indigenous Plant Project.
The purpose of the project is to introduce citizens to the value and benefit of using native plants in their landscape.
Indigenous plants are plant species that were here before European settlement. Kristen Hopkins of Murfreesboro Parks and Rec explains why native plants are essential for our ecosystem.
It puts out a certain kind of flower with a certain kind of smell and a certain kind of color to attract certain kinds of pollinators.
It's something you might not think about on a daily basis, that native or indigenous plants truly are a vital part of keeping our environment healthy and strong.
Those plants and those animals work together in an ecological system, and they feed off each other, they communicate with each other, interestingly enough, and together they just form a diverse and a resilient system.
Also part of the project and another way to educate the public is through their first ever plant sale.
If you're interested in having native plants in your yard, or if you're just interested in learning more about them, come on out, ask us questions.
At the sale, they will have everything from perennial flowers to grasses and shade trees in 5-gallon pots. It's a great way to learn and check out new plants for your landscape.
The more you learn about these plants and the animals that they support, the more you understand about the local ecosystem, and one thing leads to another, and it's just fascinating.
The folks at Murfreesboro Outdoors, part of Parks and Rec, remind us just how lucky we are to live in such a special place.
One thing I love about the landscape of Middle Tennessee is the incredible diversity in the plants. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can study it for years and be learning something new every time you go out in the field.
3 council members were recently sworn in for Murfreesboro City Council. Incumbents Kurt Wade and Bill Shacklet and newcomer Sean Wright.
You know, every Thursday night or a Wednesday night when you have planning commission or when you have a committee meeting or you have a town hall or you have a public meeting, those are nights that you're away from your family. And so family members are not just part of the process on telling their husband or wife, go on and you take part and have fun. They're part of that because they get the phone calls, they get the emails, when you're eating dinner out, they have people come up to them at the dinner table. And so I want to thank y'all for taking part in that, but also I want to thank Eddie and his family for being part of the city of Murfreesboro and for serving so ably for so many years.
Murfreesboro City Schools Assistant Superintendent Gary Anderson recently addressed the Murfreesboro City School Board and announced his resignation.
A sad time coming up. Mr. Gary Anderson, would you please stand? As many of you are aware, Mr. Anderson has chosen to take a position with another school district close by. But before we let him go, I want to say a few words about Gary and his service to our city school system and accomplishments that he's had over the past 18 years since he's been with Murfreesboro City Schools. He started out as the nutrition supervisor, later became assistant superintendent for finance and support services. In this role, he was responsible for 10 support area departments in the entire budget process, which included meeting with every principal, every department head, as well as projecting the enrollment for each school for the upcoming seasons. Gary would use his 3 decades of experience on the Board of Education in another district, of which he just finished up, to help us move forward as we grew. While Gary may be leaving the city school system, his contributions will benefit the district for many years. Thank you, Gary Anderson, for everything that you have done for the children, the staff, the community of Murfreesboro City Schools.
All very kind. Thank you. As I leave, just want to make sure everybody does know what a great district this is, and if we can just continue with the focus on the whole child, the children, focus on the STEAM activities, this district will continue to be one of the most progressive and unique districts in the state of Tennessee. One of 3 districts that are situations is a pre-K through 6 district in the whole state, one of 25th largest districts, and we're only elementary. And that speaks volume for this community and what's gone on. So thank you very much for this. Thank you for your support for these past 18 years. And I know MCS will continue to be and do awesome things. Thank you.
Murfreesboro City Schools Interim Director delivered his quarterly message on the status of the district during one of the most uncertain times for parents and students.
Hello, I am Ralph Frinkstaff, Interim Superintendent for Murfreesboro City Schools. The first 6 weeks of the school year has been challenging, to say the least, but our faculties and staff have worked very hard to make it as smooth as possible for students and parents. On August 10th, we opened schools in a hybrid plan, with pre-K through 2nd grade being provided transportation and encouraged them to participate in a traditional school setting, while grades 3 through 6 participated in distance learning. At that time, the COVID numbers in Rutherford County dictated that we open with fewer students than we had originally planned. Since August 10th, we have learned quite a bit. Our teachers have discovered how to engage students in ways they have never have before. We've had classes that were all traditional, others that were all virtual, and hybrid classes where there were both students in the classroom and students participating remotely. I was pleased to see how well our students adjusted to the modifications placed upon them when they returned to school. Distance learning students adapted to their environment and met the expectations. Our successful start to the school year is due to all of the employees, students, and parents of Murfreesboro City Schools working together as a team. Under the circumstances, we could not have asked for a better start. We are thankful the number of students and staff affected by the COVID-19 virus have been very minimal. Thanks to careful safety precautions taken by everyone in response to COVID numbers steadily declining in our district and Rutherford County as a whole, the decision has been made to move to our next phase of hybrid plan. It's called the Parent's Choice. In this phase, transportation will be provided for all eligible students, beginning on a Monday, September the 28th. Parents who wish for their child to return to their school in a traditional school setting may do so. Parents choosing to keep their child on a distance learning plan until winter break may do so as well. Beginning the Parent's Choice plan 1 week before fall break enables us to make any necessary adjustments during fall break. Unless the parents choose to have their child opt out of returning to the traditional setting, the student is expected to return to school for in-person learning. With all of these discussions, I have to add a disclaimer. At any time, we may have to move to another plan with very little notice. Please continue to be flexible and understanding as we navigate through these trying times to make this school year the best it can be. Again, I want to applaud everyone associated with Murfreesboro City Schools. The employees, students, and parents have made a potentially stressful start to the school year run as well as possible. Your support is appreciated more than you know. Thank you very much.
Murfreesboro's fall leaf pickup is kicking off mid-October and running through the beginning of November. Here's a public service announcement with some good information to ensure a speedy and safe pickup of your yard waste.
Leaf collection season is underway by the Murfreesboro Streets and Solid Waste Departments. Here are a few tips how you can help in the process. Please keep loose leaves separate from yard waste like brush, debris, and limbs. Only biodegradable paper bags are accepted for those residents who choose to bag their leaves. Place tree limbs and brush parallel to the street. Make sure the debris is in one pile only instead of several piles. Don't place brush longer than 10 feet in length. Don't place brush under low-lying power lines and cable lines to allow room for the boom to work. Don't park a vehicle near the brush pile during daylight hours. Most of the leaf collection season typically ends before the Christmas holidays. Crews will continue picking up bags of leaves through the first or second week of January. Once again, leaf collection season is underway by the Murfreesboro Streets and Solid Waste Department.
In other news, we here at CityTV were recognized nationally for government television programming excellence from the National Association of Telecommunications Officers and Advisors, or NATOA. We received 19 awards from NATOA's 35th annual awards ceremony. We are happy to share that this show in the city won an award of distinction in the magazine format series category. The National Alliance on Mental Illness Tennessee, a member of the largest grassroots mental health organization, names the Murfreesboro Police Department and Chief of Police Michael Bowen as one of 2 recipients of the 2020 Criminal Justice Award. The Criminal Justice Award recognizes the criminal justice professional or program that represents the de-escalation and diversion approach for people with mental illness who become involved in the criminal justice system. The award was presented at NAMI, Tennessee 34th Annual State Virtual Convention, September 24, 2020. Because of COVID-19, the Barfield Halloween Bash has been canceled this year, but you can still get your haunted house fix with Frightensburgh at Cannonsburgh Village. Frightensburgh will be on Wednesday, October 21st through Saturday, October 24th at Cannonsburgh Village, 312 Front Street. Gates open at 7 p.m. This is not suitable for young children, and there will be plenty of room for social distancing. Food trucks will be on site. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the city of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.